Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video we're going to be talking about university. We're back on my favourite topic, but instead of talking about pre-university, like the application stages, picking your first choice, UCAS, all of that kind of stuff, I thought we should talk about what happens when you actually get to university, when Freshers Week is over, when the euphoria has worn off and it kind of hits you and you kind of deep that this is your reality. Like, this is a long thing, not a short thing, like here for a long time. So I thought it would be good to sit down and share with you guys essentially a survival guide for university. No way, shape or form am I claiming to have all the answers to how to handle university. Yes, I finished my first year, so I have been at uni for a year, but I'm still learning so much. If you guys enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button as well. Let's just get straight into this video. So I have 7 things that I want to talk to you guys about in terms of surviving uni. We're not just talking about the practical side in terms of grades and courses and all of that kind of stuff and accommodation. I want to focus more on like the mental health side of things and dealing with things in terms of how it affects your mind, your mentality, and just how you feel inside. I feel like it's so important to focus on that aspect of university, because for me, I found that that was one thing that I never really expected to affect me as much as it did, and it's so important to talk about and conversate about and to keep at the forefront of our minds whilst we're at university or whether you're going to university. So yeah, my first thing that I would say is super important is to set your own priorities when you go to university. Everyone goes to university for different reasons. Everyone is prioritizing completely different things. You don't have to conform to the typical uni priorities if that's not your thing. If that's not what you care about, obviously you should care about your degree. Like, you're paying £9 a year to like get a degree, so like try making that a priority. But I mean, like, obviously there's a heavy focus on like going out and partying as well. If that's not your thing, if that's not what you're into, don't go to uni feeling like you now have to make that a priority because freshers are supposed to go out 2 to 3 times a week. So now, oh, because I'm a fresher, I have to conform to that priority at uni. No, if that's not what you want to do, don't do it. Number 2 is to prioritize yourself and your own mental health. The bottom line and the reality is that as teenagers, as young people are selfish. Like, everyone is looking out for number one, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. To a certain extent, it's so important to prioritize yourself and how you're feeling over everything else, whether that be with friends, whether that be in relationships, or whether that be with your uni work or any extracurricular activities you're doing as well. The way I see it is, if you yourself are run down and your cup is half full, it's more difficult, it's harder for you to help other people because you don't have enough in you to give to other people. And when you don't have enough in you, you're not much help to other people. But if your glass is full, if you're good, if you're okay, you have a little bit extra to give away. You have a little bit more time, you have a little bit more motivation, a little bit more positivity to give out to people. I think it's really important to be careful that you don't allow people to drain you. A lot of people in uni use people as their lifeline and use people as their help. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because friends are supposed to help you through situations. Friends are supposed to help you through things. But real friends will understand when you need to take time for yourself to fix yourself, and real friends will want to support that. So then all of that kind of brings you on to number 3, and that is to get comfortable with being alone. Uni is a place where you are constantly surrounded by people. Well, okay, I feel like there can be a couple of cases, but for a lot of people, you're constantly surrounded by friends or by people. So whether that be in your lecture theatre when you're sitting with some of your friends, whether you're in seminars with people you like or people you cannot stand. I'm so used to having people around me all the time that it kind of became a bit claustrophobic, if I'm being honest. And I got so used to being around people that it kind of became weird to be alone. And I think a lot of people felt that way. There'll be times when everyone is busy, one person's on a date here, the other person's gone home for the weekend, that's usually me, someone's got an activity to do, someone's at a club, someone else has an essay, and you're forced to be by yourself. And if you're not comfortable with that, then that's when you start to believe the lies in your head, because we all have those voices of doubt, those voices that try and make us feel like things are a certain way when they're not. They kind of distort the truth or the reality of a situation, or convince yourself that something is there that isn't. So then number 4, which I think is probably one of my most important, probably should have put it first in retrospect, but oh well, we're here now, ain't no going back, is to protect your heart, your mind and your space. I think being at uni and being surrounded by so many different types of people and being surrounded by people who aren't necessarily my family a lot more than I normally would be has taught me how influential your friends are and the people that you surround yourself with. Sad truth of it is most people, or a lot of people, don't have your best interest at heart. They care about you, but they don't care about you. And I feel like if you've experienced this, you'll know you should be careful who you tell your information to, in terms of not your information but just your situation and how you're feeling or things that you're going through. Find trusted people who you can let into that space. Don't get me wrong, there will be times when you let people into your space, into your head in terms of how you're feeling, or you open up your heart, and it can and unfortunately it will get thrown back in your face. But don't be willy-nilly with who you're doing that to. For example, if you meet someone who is always negative, always has something bad to say, like everyone in a good mood, give it 10 minutes, you're hanging around them and suddenly everyone feeling sorry for themselves. Be selective in how much time you spend with that person and how much you allow them to influence you. I'd also say that in terms of relationships as well, and guys, well, I'm talking from my perspective in terms of guys that you meet and guys that you talk to. It is not at all a bad thing to talk to new people and to get to know new guys and to just get to know what you want and what you don't want in a person or in a partner. But be careful about who you allow into your space. Some people don't deserve to get to know you. They don't deserve to get to know your dreams, your hopes, the real you, your deepest, darkest thoughts and feelings, and the true, real, raw you. Some guys, they just don't deserve that. And if you give your heart to every guy that comes along, every Tom, Dick and Harry that comes knocking on your door, then there'll be nothing left for you. You'll be drained and you'll be exhausted. So protect your heart, be selective, be careful. Don't get me wrong, like I said before, you will give your heart to some people, you will give your all to some friendships, to some relationships, and it will crash and burn, okay? Alright, like the walls of Jericho, it will fall down. I'm joking. So without even realising, I kind of already got onto point number 5, which is about relationships and your status and all of that kind of thing. In my experience, I felt like there was, and I've talked about this before in my video with Sarah about spilling the tea on uni boys, there is sometimes such a big pressure on who you're talking to, who you're seeing now, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're single. And I'm not saying to completely disregard it, because like the reality is, like, you want to get married someday, like you want to be in a relationship, like don't completely act like boys don't exist, but don't let that be your main focus. Don't feel like you have to be talking to guys, you have to be seeing people. Like if there's no one that floats your boat, no one that tickles your fancy, then just sit tight, stay cotched and do you, and like focus on yourself and enjoy your singleness. So number 6 is basically something that I think is super important in order to keeping like a healthy or a healthier mindset at university, and that is that remember and remind yourself that university is not the be all to end all, and that university is not all that there is to this world. It's not your whole world. Spending so much time there, it's so easy to get caught up and wrapped up in the day-to-day life uni. But I think reminding yourself that life continues after uni and life is still happening outside of uni is a nice way to remind yourself that sometimes the problems that you think are so huge at university are so minor. And this is kind of the last thing in terms of my tips and survival tips for university, and that is that remember quality over quantity. It's important to have friends who are good friends. I always remind myself and I always tell myself it's better to have 5 friends who are actual friends, who you can rely on, who you can depend on, who you call when you have a problem, who they can call you when they have a problem, who you share things with, than 10 friends or a whole friendship group who they're friends you're out with, you're cool with, but really you can't really depend or count on any of them. There may be times at uni where you feel like you haven't found those people, or you feel like there's no one really that fits your boat. Keep being you and keep putting the energy out there that you want to see from your friends. Keep pushing to find people that are like you, and they will come along eventually if you just keep putting yourself out there. Join new clubs, join places where the sort of people you like would be, and it will come naturally, it'll come organically. Okay, so that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow me on my social medias, my Instagram and my Twitter, both in the description bar below.